Hello.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Samaji.
Hi, Mom.
Good morning and good afternoon and good evening and
Good
good
evening, good morning, good afternoon. Good day.
day.
Good day. Okay, so here we are. Let's see. I'm going to put that up there. And today
Yoga Sutra time. I hear you in the back of my mind.
it's Yoga Sutras time. So anyway, we're here on this section,
Hi, bro.
stabilize, clearing the mind. Hi, what?
Bro.
Ah,
Ross.
Rosin. Hi, Roz. And that Roseanne.
Roseanne, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And hi, Indika. Hello, Raj. And so, okay, so here we are. We're in the 8th section of chapter 1, stabilizing and clearing the mind, sutras 33 to 39. Remember, the foundation principle was introduced of what is yoga. Yoga has to do with nirodha, setting aside everything that I am not. Then the self is what's left. That's the two sutras defining yoga. And of course, remember that Sutra 1, Atha Yoga Anushasanam, means discipline. It means finally, I am prepared to actually follow the discipline of yoga. I know this is going to sound terrible, but I'm going to say it anyway. I was remembering this morning. It's not a pleasant memory.
Oh.
But I'm remembering the institution that Swami Rama created in the USA. I don't know, maybe Americans are just different than other people. I don't think so. I've observed the same phenomena in all cultures. Anyway, there came a point in 1992. We experienced this here, as you know, Ma, on a little scale from time to time. He had it on a big scale. There was every morning, there was prayers and meditation time. And I think it was like 6 o'clock in the morning. Every evening at 10 o'clock in the evening, there was prayers and meditation time, a way of beginning and ending the day. And it was in late summer, August of 1992, Swami Rama finally just got totally fed up with the whole thing and had a meeting with everybody and said, if you people won't even show up for meditation time, you should leave the institute. He had been trying this for years. And what got skipped is Atha Yoga Anushasanam. Atha, now finally I'm willing to discipline myself. And so there were approximately 70 or 80 people living in residence at that place. And in the morning meditation time, maybe 2 people would show up. Maybe 2. Occasionally 3.
Yeah.
And so there was a
systematic practice. Let alone any systematic practice.
I'm sorry, let alone what?
Do any systematic practice.
Of course not. We don't do that. And so, anyway, I know it's a terrible thing to say, but the discipline starts on our own. The discipline starts on our own. And, you know, how many times have I seen this in other settings? And so, and yet I get emails from people, I don't know, maybe you do too, Ma. I get emails from people saying, my goal in life is to quit my job and go live in an ashram.
I'm not that high of a caliber yet, Swamiji, so I'm not yet that much bothered by that kind of emails, fortunately.
You mean you're not pestered?
Not as much as you have, Swamiji.
Yeah.
I'm so happy every time it happens because it makes me a real Swami.
Yeah. Well, anyway.
But I don't wish
So
more.
this is the first principle. When we're going through these Yoga Sutras together like this, is one of the reasons that I tried to switch over to what we're doing now, sort of touching on the highlights, and then let everybody dive in and dig in if they want. And if they're doing practices, questions will be there related to these principles. So we're just trying to bounce across the surface of these points. But it begins with Sutra 1. It does. It begins with Sutra 1. I don't know if that shows up. And Sutra 1 has to do with discipline. And the place to do it is in our own home. And then we had a section that introduced the notion of klesha, klishta and aklishta vriktis. Then abhyasa and vairagya, practice and non-attachment. Then we went through levels of the gross levels, the samprajnata samadhis, those with objects, and then objectless. And then we went through shraddha, virya, smriti, samadhi, prajna, efforts and commitments of practice. And then we went through Om, which is sort of the direct route. Then we went through what I playfully like to call the 13 yucky things, the obstacles that naturally occur, but that presumes you started with the commitment to do discipline. So one of the obstacles is laziness. So it's predictable that the laziness is going to come, but it's up to each of us ourselves to observe our own laziness and deal with the fact that I have made a commitment to self-discipline. And so if somebody thinks that guru is going to motivate them to show up for meditation time,
hoorah, hoorah, you go.
The Rojo is sitting here being a cheerleader. You hoorah, hoorah, you go. Actually, it's humorous, but that's the principle, you know. And in that story about Swami Rama, this is heartbreaking to say, but he said that to people, and for about 2 or 3 weeks, everybody was showing up in the meditation room. It was just, excuse me. It was a flood of people showing up. But it was the end of the summer, and then Swamiji got on a plane and flew back to India for the winter and stopped in wherever he went, Europe and elsewhere in Asia on the way back to India. And then it ended. It reverted back to exactly what it was before. A year later, he left permanently. And so then the people could be happy. And so I know that's a terrible thing. Good morning, Gurvinder. Anyway, this was popping through my mind this morning. Hi, Nellie. Hello, Teria.
I also saw Eileen popping up.
Where I thought I saw her too, but now I don't. Oh, there she is. Good morning. Raj says, wow, that is surprising yet not surprising. Indeed.
Yeah.
Still, Raj, even today, and this is now, boy, it's hard to believe what I'm about to say. This was 25 years ago that happened. 25 years ago. And even today, it's surprising yet not surprising. Even today, Raj, I still feel the same way you just said. It's just amazing to me. But it's the truth. I saw it happen. I saw it happen in the Rishikesh ashram. I've seen it happen here. Smaller scale. And I confess, I don't, that it's not my intent to be negative about people. All people are Atman at their core. But if we're going to do these kind of practices, we simply must take charge of it ourselves. We're going through highlights of Yoga Sutras. But the only person who can actually dive in and do the practices is each of us ourselves. No person, no God, no deity, no guru can do this stuff for us. I'm sorry, it just doesn't work that way. And so here we've got this thing about stabilizing the mind, what we're going to go take a look at here shortly. But this is a portion of the process. It is done so that you can do the practices of chapter 2 and do something with minimizing the gross colorings of thought and dealing with the subtle impressions, and then going into chapter 3. This is actually where the real practices really begin here. This is where the real action really happens. And so we talk about systematic, on our circle chart, we calm the conscious mind. Why? So that we can explore the unconscious. How many of us are actually really wanting and willing to sit and explore the unconscious?
Very few.
I know the answer to that question I'm asking, but I'm going to attempt to refrain from answering it for you. As Swamiji said, if you won't even show up for meditation time. Anyway. So, let me take that down.
And that reminds me of the note that you wrote, Swamiji, when he was being a little about people. And
I'm
said,
sorry, what? I don't know what you're saying.
You wrote a note after Swami said, none of you want this. And then you wrote to him, perhaps I have not made myself clear.
Yes.
I
he gave one of those talks in front of everybody in the big lecture hall. And none of you want what I'm teaching. Stand it, none of you want it. And I was sitting there in this room and my eyes kind of looked around just a little bit left and right. And internally, it irritated me. The situation irritated me. I didn't know exactly what it was, but internally, words went through my mind. He said, none of you. And internally, what went through my mind is, I'm somebody. It wasn't an ego trip like I'm important. It wasn't that kind of thing. It's like, okay, put everybody down, but I'm somebody too. So what she's remembering, everybody, is I wrote a note. I went to my room and I wrote a note to Swami Rama. I said, perhaps I have not made myself clear to you. I both want and am asking for that which you offer. And took it to the front reception desk, and they take notes like that and they route it to him. And then the rest of that story is that next day when he snuck up on me in the dining room and came over my shoulder like this, and his head was here, and it says, I was not talking to you, but still. Anyway, so there we go. Echo coming from Ma, says Teria. You're echoing, Ma.
I already did it. No, now I know it's not my earphone because there's still echo. I plugged in my earphones and there's still echo. So
Well,
I don't know what to do.
Yeah, what to do? Maybe it's just, is anybody else hearing echoing now?
It's a little bit, but not much for I think. Not enough to distort it.
You're hearing it too?
Yeah, it's very slight.
I'm not hearing it.
It's subtle.
Woho's hearing it. Anyway, so here are some suggestions on clearing, stabilizing and clearing the mind. And
they're here too. Maybe it's not my end.
well, if I turn this off, anyway. I don't have an answer to it. I'm technically doing the best I can do, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
If I put earphones on here, then somebody else in the room with me cannot hear the conversation.
No, and it's not always happening. So.
And that seems to be unfair.
Indeed. It comes and goes. I think it's more related to the transmission somehow, because now it's gone.
Okay, I'm going to go back here to make this point clear. Sutra
Yes.
32. Sutra 32, to prevent or deal with these 9 obstacles and their 4 consequences, the recommendation is to make the mind one-pointed, training it how to focus on a single principle. And there is the ek, single. Ek tattva is in that sutra. Okay, so then the next block of sutras that Patanjali presents is some examples of ek tattva, of one principle.
Somehow the screen for me is not showing up, Sarmati.
Well, that's because I forgot to put it in yet.
Ah,
All right, so let me go back here.
thanks.
Thank you. Okay. Here is where we are, stabilizing and clearing the mind. This is Sutras 33 to 39. You can see now?
Yes.
Would somebody type in the box, when we have this layout transmitting to you, can you read that on your screen? Would somebody please type in the box, yes or no? I can make it a little bit bigger. Here, I'll show you this. I'm going to make it bigger. And tell me if it makes a huge difference. Is this a lot better for you or just a little better? Yes, Rosalind, yes doesn't tell me anything.
I think she meant yes, it's a lot better.
Well, I don't want to guess what she meant. Bigger is clearer. Okay, anybody else? Okay, so, all right, so I'll go back and forth sometimes from this so you can see our smiling faces and see the thing and see bigger. I'll give you bigger here. I would just want to say, here is the section we're going through, but what's the point here? Why are we doing this? I'm going to go back here to Sutra 32, the sutra immediately before this one, just to put this in context. Okay, the last block of sutras was obstacles and solutions. And here's the 13 yucky things here. Here's the obstacles. And what is the solution? Sutra 32. To prevent and deal with the obstacles, the recommendation is to make the mind one-pointed, training it how to focus on a single principle or object. This is not a prescription list from Patanjali that says you must get an A in the course on each one of these sutras. It's saying that you need to be one-pointed, and here's some ideas of how to do it. Okay, and when we go over the section we're working on, you'll note that there's the eka, single tattva, one principle. Practice, abhyasa, practice, one principle. And that will prevent or negate or neutralize all of those objects. Now, this is just I cannot tell you how many times somebody says, I'm having a problem in life, and essentially what they want me to do with them is sit and have a psychotherapy session. I am not a psychologist, and I have no wish to be a psychologist. I've studied some psychology. I find it fascinating and useful. But here is the core principle. Are we willing to train our mind to be one-pointed? If this doesn't work for somebody, then they are not Atta Yoganushasana. That person is simply not prepared yet to practice yoga. Let them go do gymnasium yoga with their physical body for 10 or 20 years. Maybe they will become ready. But this is a core principle here. A core, very important core principle. Now I'm going to go back. I came here just to show you that, and that this is the reason for this next block of sutras, how to stabilize the mind and clear it up from the grosser level of obstacles. This is what we've got. And stability and clarity of mind are necessary before being able to experience the subtler meditations or samadhi. I'm going to click here on this one in chapter 3, just to show you one point. Remember Sutra 2 and 3, a definition of yoga says, Nirodha. Yoga has to do with setting aside the false identities. As we get subtler, if we skip this part that we're looking at here, we will not be able to do this here. But I'm going to click on this 3.4 to 3.6. I'm going to go there. But this is the arena, if we have to put it in a box, this is advanced meditation. We're studying the whole Yoga Sutras so that all of us get a feel of the whole entire process. But if we skip these early parts, or we just studied enough to pass the exam in the course, that say, okay, I remember that sutra, I have memorized that, and I can pass the course on that and get an A in the course. That doesn't cut it. You will not be able to do what's in Sutra 3.6. Now I'm going to go there. If we have done the preliminaries and we've worked up to this, then we can do this. Samyama is the collective practice of the last 3 rungs, dharana, dhyana, samadhi. The primary purpose of all of the preparation work in the first 5 rungs of yoga is to build this tool called samyama. Samyama is a tool. And Sutra 3.6 here, I'm just going to scroll down to it if I can. This 3-part process of samyama is gradually applied to the finer plane states or stages of practice. Now note here that samyama is dharana, dhyana, and samadhi. I'm going to tell you a little story that I heard in the early 1980s. And it made no sense to me. It was shocking to me. I had heard about samadhi, and okay, fine, I want samadhi. And it was when the then Pandit Usharbhad Arya, who later became Swami Veda, I heard him giving a talk one day, and he said, sadhana begins with samadhi. This is the principle right here. That 3-part process of samyama is gradually applied to the finer plane states or stages of practice. And why do we do that? Why do we do samadhi on our indriyas, smelling, tasting, seeing, touching, hearing? We do that so we can come to the direct experience, not the philosophical theory or belief system that anything that can be seen is a false identity. Atman, Purusha, Brahman cannot be seen. You've heard this, you've read it many, many times, but this is a really core principle. If we're going to experience Kaivalya, the final liberation that is the subject of the Yoga Sutras, if we're going to experience that, we simply must go through samyama on the senses. We simply must do that. We must do it on the bhutas, earth, water, fire, air, space. People have workshops on how to deal with the elements, but they're trying to cultivate the elements, how to open this lower chakra. The first 5 chakras are of the cognitive senses, the Jnanendriyas, the Karmendriyas, and the elements of earth, water, fire, air, space. We simply must transcend the lower 5 chakras. There's no dodging that. There's no escaping it. But how do you do that? You use this process right here, which includes samadhi. So we must do samadhi on these inner phenomena. This is why in Sutra 17, in chapter 1, we went through a couple weeks ago, it outlines Savitarka, Savichara, Sananda, and Sasmita, and then goes to Asamprajnati. You may recall that we went through that. All of these things work together. They're like juggling balls. This is a gradually applied Viniyoga. Tasya Bhumisi. We must do this. Anyway, I know I don't want to go terribly far off here. And so, but I'm trying to drive home the point. And this is the challenge of even studying the Yoga Sutras at all, because these different sections, so to speak, these different principles work together. And if we're going to understand the big picture, which is what we're trying to do, we have to figure out how to connect the dots. We have to see that. So these sutras here, 33 to 39, which notice here, they're sort of about 2/3 away down chapter 1. And this, remember, this little symbol over here is just to help create a memory for you, so you have some memory trace, because minds tend to like remembering pictures. Wait a minute, this thing about stabilizing the mind, steadying the mind so that I can actually do the practices. Note here that chapter 2, the name of chapter 2 is Sadhana Pada, the chapter on sadhana. So to be able to start doing sadhana, first you have to stabilize and clear the mind. Now, there are many systems of meditation that simply don't go all the way to Kaivalya. They don't go to Purusha and Atman. They just don't go there. They are, in effect, modern stress management meditation, where the only goal is to calm my psychology, to calm my personality level of mind down. And this is wonderful in organizations and corporations and hospitals. And so we teach the shallowest aspect of meditation. And if you can have any degree of quiet, calm, conscious mind, that's the end of the journey. Well, not in yoga. Yoga is very, very deep and very, very broad. It's very, very thorough. So thorough that chapter 2 is the one on sadhana, on actual practices. This is preparation. This is the principle here, preparing for subtler practices. See, it's preparing for the subtler practices. I use an example here. The specialized training of an Olympic athlete rests on a solid foundation of generalized physical fitness. Similarly, generalized training in one-pointedness is necessary so that meditation practices can advance. The particular methods suggested here relate to the removal of obstacles through one-pointedness, as suggested in the previous sutras we just looked at. And here is a short summary right here of sutras 33 to 39. The first method deals with meditation on 4 types of attitudes towards people, including friendliness or lovingness, compassion or support, happiness or goodwill, and neutrality or acceptance. And here today, I am not going to try to go through in detail all of those, because I think that it would serve little purpose. If you really want to dive into this, you'll look again, you'll look at it, you'll have another conversation with me or Matri, and you'll hang out, and gradually it will make sense. But most important is we have to play with it. 5 specific suggestions of objects for focus are given. These include breath awareness, meditation on sensation, meditation on inner luminosity, contemplation on a stable mind, and focusing on the stream of the mind. Requires some further exploration and pondering. Here's the beauty of them all in this whole section here. This will make your mind happy. Remember this. Lastly, you might practice one-pointedness on whatever you find pleasing and useful. And we all of us already know this. You've heard me say this example before. Look how common, how easy it is after you have a very difficult day at work. Just big challenges and obstacles all day long. And you go home, you kick off your shoes, you sit down on your favorite chair or your couch, and you turn on the television, and you watch the television shows for 4 or 5 hours, and you crawl off and fall into bed, probably skipping your night meditation because you're too tired. This is one of the excuses I hear. Well, I'm too tired after my busy day to sit for meditation. What do I do? Well, here's the principle. We can spend 3 or 4 hours watching the television. Guess what? It kind of works. I'm looking at Sutra 39 here, this comment. One pointedness on whatever you find pleasing. It works a little bit because watch what happens after you've wasted your time watching television for 3 or 4 hours. I'm not saying don't watch television. I'm not saying that at all. But use these things wisely and understand that it does work a little bit. That person that's in the habit of going home after work every day and watching the television for 3 or 4 hours, it does help a little bit to let go of the busy day. Look at how much people look forward to the weekend. For us here, all 7 days are pretty much equal. But if I'm out in the public, it's very common on a Friday afternoon, somebody will say, have a good weekend. Well, I know what that means. I do know what that means. What it means is I'm working all week long and I hate my job and I've got all these problems, but finally on the weekend, I get to, I don't know what, go play golf, watch more television, whatever it is. So I get free to be free on the weekend. And so again, it's using the one point. It's allowing 5 days a week to rotate around the 2 days of the weekend. And then we try to figure out how to get, how wouldn't it be nice if I were wealthy and then I didn't have to work at this stupid job? We don't learn karma yoga. We don't work on our own self to be able to improve relationships through the yamas. We don't do that. We just want to figure out how to not have to go to work, because at work there are all of them, those other people. Sorry, my friends, we're stuck with this. This is the world we live in. And the world is not going to change to accommodate us, is it?
Nope.
Nope, says Rojo. Tried that, huh?
Yep.
Yep, Rojo tried it. Doesn't work. There it is. It's official. And we all know this. So this focus on television at the end of the day or focus on having a weekend coming is a form of one-pointedness. Now, we all know, I think this is true, tell me if I'm wrong, that this works a little bit. But we also, all of us, I think, figure out that ultimately this is not the solution. I'm doing something wrong. I'm overlooking something. And so the choice of what to do with this, whatever you find pleasing and useful, this last sutra, is very, very important. You know, do you go home and turn on your television and hook it up to YouTube channel and watch Swami Rama videos? We have over 50 hours of Swami Rama presentations on our YouTube channel. They're all there. And if I ever, when it doesn't happen very often, but from time to time, I'll hear from somebody and we'll send a thumb drive with all of them on a thumb drive so people can put it on their own laptop or inside of their cell phone. I have, this is one-pointedness. I'm just giving you kind of silly examples. Get ready for this. I hope you're going to enjoy this. This is better than television. You ready? Okay, here it is. Here's my cell phone. You ready? See that? There's my cell phone, things listed. Get ready. I hope you can hear this.
I pray to the divinity in you.
Can you hear it, Mom?
Yes.
I will
Swami Rama on the phone. Hello, Swami Rama.
that you will receive
How are you today?
very concrete and definite in the seminar,
Did you hear that, everybody?
provided
Listen to this. I'm going to play it again.
I pray to the divinity in you. First of all, I will, and I want to assure you that you will receive something very concrete and definite in the seminar, provided you are prepared.
Provided you.
I
Prepared.
practice, because this is my favorite subject.
Did you hear? Provided you're prepared and you practice.
Yes.
Anyway, so
Atta and Abhyasa.
what?
Atta and Abhyasa.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm not doing this to complain to anybody. I'm saying to this stuff to you in this kind of way. Yes, you can hear good. I don't know where the microphone is on the. Does anybody know where the actual microphone is on a Mac laptop? Is it down on the keyboard or is it up there somewhere? It heard it. That's what's important. But I don't know where the little actual microphone is. I know where the camera is. There's the camera. But I don't know where the microphone is. Anyway, I'm saying this. I'm just chatting out loud like this because it's a way of explaining this to you. So there are 4 attitudes that he suggests, and we probably ought to play with all 4 of them. And then there's 5 specific suggestions, and then there's one that says a sort of catch-all. What?
Whatever you want.
Whatever you want. And I'm just saying some of these other things like TV and the weekend, just to say that we all already know this principle. We all have experienced hobbies. We've experienced sport things that we like to do. Maybe we like to play tennis. I was never very good at it, and I never found it terribly enjoyable, you know, and golf. I can't imagine playing a golf game, you know, gee, but the principle is there, the principle of one-pointedness, and every one of us have different ways in which we have found something that is relaxing for us. I don't know good examples. Rosalind is an artist. Now, she's a real thing trained fine artist. I've seen some of her stuff. She's a profoundly professional artist. And I know that for her to do art, she teaches painting. I don't know if you still do, but teaches painting and this is what her thing is. Now, I would imagine that for her, painting is probably pretty relaxing. Raj is learning how to play a piano. He went and bought one of these electronic pianos and is learning how to play it. And this is a relaxing thing to do. It's an aspect of Sutra 39. It helps make the mind one-pointed and calm. Now, which is probably more useful for Raj to do? Sit at home watching humor sitcom television shows or playing the piano? I don't know. It's up to Raj, but my guess would be that playing the piano is probably a little more useful than watching stupid television shows. So anyway, this is, or whatever you find pleasing. No, the word is intentional, what you find pleasing and useful. So question, is this useful or not useful? This is to steady and stabilize the mind. Skipping such basic training of the mind is tempting, but it is a serious mistake for a student of meditation and might result in meditation becoming nothing but a fight with your mind. I cannot prove this comment down here, but I'm saying it anyway. Many schools of meditation emphasize only one method, such as meditation on kindness. I've heard people say this, you know, 2 friends will meet at the Starbucks. What kind of meditation do you do? Well, I do loving kindness meditation. Somebody else says, well, I do mindfulness meditation, and on and on and on like this. Well, they are different aspects of stabilizing the mind.
But if that, I was just thinking for a lot of people, it's just about stabilizing the mind. That's the end product of meditation. That's why you do meditation. Yes. So then it doesn't matter which one you choose because it will be successful.
Yes. And the thing is, it's preparation. It's not the end of the journey. It's preparation so that you can experience self-realization, atmajnana, kaivalya, liberation. And I know the way I'm saying this sounds like I'm complaining at somebody, and I'm not wanting to say that I'm trying to drive home a point here. That's why I get passionate about this. I'm trying to drive home this point for you rather than going through a bunch of sentences here and Sanskrit words and then pretend that we all understand. I want you to understand it in your gut and in your heart and with your buddhi. that says, holy cow, there's really something to this. I really do need and want to train my mind to be one-pointed. And I need to do this. Many schools of meditation, only one method or some other object, failing to note that while extremely useful, these are only preparatory practices for the subtler meditations and samadhi as described in chapters 2, 3, and 4. We're only in chapter 1. Most people, this is just an observation, will settle for the calming benefits of the preparation. Most people will settle for the calming benefits of preparation and will not pursue the subtler meditations that lead to self-realization. I find this heartbreaking to watch it, but I've been watching it for years. Over and over and over, I see this. And I find it heartbreaking. You know, I want to just scream out and say, can you not see the ultimate goal of this? Are you not hungry for God realization or self-realization or enlightenment or truth or reality or however you want to call it? And I guess painfully the answer is no. Very often the answer is no. That's not what I'm seeking. It is very important to note that these contemplations are used to stabilize and clear the mind. The later practices are used for discriminative knowledge. Remember discriminative knowledge? Let's go there temporarily. The 8 rungs. Why do you do the 8 rungs? You do the 8 rungs are for discrimination. Is this the right place here? Yeah, oops. Yeah, all right. 26 is what I'm looking for. Anyway. I'm going back. For example, if you are contemplating on friendliness, this is not being done to discriminate that it is part of avidya or ignorance and thus set aside. It's not for that. In the later practices, you are using discrimination to set aside what is due to avidya. But this contemplation here on friendliness at this stage is to stabilize the mind, not to transcend emotions. Later we come to see that, wait a minute, 100% of my emotions are occurring in the part of reality called antakarna, the totality of my inner instrument, and is coming from the samskaras that are in my field called karmashaya. I jumped to those words just to impress you, you see. Later we do that, but at this point here, what we're trying to do is use those attitudes to stabilize the mind so that we can later do the subtler, deeper practices. Now, I know everybody in this conversation, virtually all of you are not new at this, so this kind of conversation may be sort of remedial or reminders or something like that.
Because eventually, Swamiji, I like what you just said. Oh, there's another echo again. Is that when Buddhi becomes sattvic enough, then that in itself is a huge stability, and thus then the storms of things come out of the karmashaya can be handled.
Yeah. So we keep saying this is systematic, and it is. Hi, Mir. Mir walks into this, expects nice general conversation, and here I am being pushy.
Are you still in Mumbai? Or are you back in Tanzania?
Where are you, Mir? Dwelling in Atman, we hope. He's not typing in.
It will come. Oh, there. Back home just now.
Back home just now. Just in time for this rant. Okay, so anyway, Then down here is all the descriptions of this, and I'm not going to take the time to go through all of this. Sutra 33 is those 4 attitudes. There's some more descriptions of these attitudes. Hi, Coco Birdie. Coco Birdie is here. Coco Birdie came out to play. It's nice to see you, Coco Birdie. My little friend Coco Birdie. Would you like to be on TV? Everybody can see you there. So there's Coco Birdie. Hi, Coco Birdie. Yeah, it's Coco Birdie. Turia says, hi, Coco Birdie. Say hi. Say chirp back. Rosalind says, hi, Coco Birdie. Say chirp, chirp. Say chirp, chirp, Roz. Chirp, chirp, Roz.
Chirp, chirp, Raj.
Roz.
Roz. Wave. There he is.
Wave.
He already did his eating.
Oh, he waved. Oh. Wave. Wave.
Wait till he finishes his seed. He's only got 1 foot to wave with. Wave.
Oh,
you
there
go.
you go. He waved. Did everybody see him wave at you? His English is not very good, so he doesn't speak very well like that, but he waves.
Turn around.
He. That's a form of one-pointedness. One-pointed on Coco Birdie. Oh, he just kissed me on the ear.
He's like, I will wave, but I can't turn around here.
There's not enough room to turn around. Anyway, so here is the, where am I here?
Did you see other comment made of Violet?
It is very seductive to use the practice to make it easier to be in this world. This strengthens rather than frees us from the delusion that we are our bodies and thoughts, constantly striving for freedom. Yes, very seductive to use it to make it easier to be in the world. Of course, as I think you know, in saying that, ironically, this is what the reason we're doing this, to make it easier to be in the world so that we can do the subtler, deeper meditations. I'm just modifying what you said ever so slightly. The trap there is that we can make it easier to be in the world and stop there because we're overlooking the thing that it is. Coco Birdie is gone now. Coco Birdie is now.
Did you want him back?
No, I just noticed he was gone. It's okay. No, he can be with you. See there, he wants to be on your arm.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to be with Rojo. Okay. So anyway, and so there's the attitude. I'm not going to try to go through all this. We would drag this out over a few weeks, and it would be of questionable value. Mind is calm by regulating the breath. Mind is also by concentration on the process of sensory experiencing. That may sound like there's some description there of how to do that. Concentration on inner light. I like to meditate on the inner light. Somebody says, okay, fine, it helps to stabilize the mind. But that's visualized light. And so we want to eventually go beyond that. Contemplating on a mind that is free from desires. Pretend that your mind was as clear as that of Buddha or Krishna or Christ or your favorite example. Focusing on the nature of the stream of the dream state can stabilize the mind. And here's our friendly or whatever you find pleasing. So I'm going to pause there and try to not go into much more detail. That the principle is there is what's important. That's what I'm trying to drive home here for you. The principle of this sutra. Okay, and then
Okay.
okie dokie. And then next time, there's a whole block of sutras. That's the end of this chapter. And I used the label here that it is the results of stabilizing the mind. What is the outcome that comes from doing this that we've just been through? Okay?
To be continued. It's a nice cliffhanger.
Yeah, to be continued. To be continued. And we're going to go take a little walk, and then
Me
we're
too.
coming back. And what did I say we were going to talk about?
7 skills or something.
Oh, the 7 skills. And so Matri will be with me, and we can have some chat about
And I
7
think it's
skills.
hot cocoa weather. So I'll be.
It's hot cocoa weather, huh?
Yes.
We just had green cocoa. We had green
Yes.
cocoa, Bertie. You're going to have brown.
This is a whole food plant-based cocoa.
Yeah. Cocoa Bertie is not, he's whole, but he's not plant-based.
No. He eats plants.
He eats mostly plants. We don't give him anything but that, but I suppose birds eat worms and things like, and insects.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so thank you all for visiting and playing, okay?
Yes.
And I hope this is helpful and making sense for you, trying to touch on the highlights of this. You remember, we want to gain some understanding of each chunk that we're looking at, and it's not easy to do, and to be aware of the whole big picture is the idea. Dewey, Nellie. Thanks for playing, Mitesh. All righty. Bye, Roseanne.
Bye, everyone.
Okay, if you're free, see you in an hour or a little over an hour.
Free.
Free. And tonight, I'm going to do another piece out of the Swami Rama lectures on yoga thing. And this one tonight is about the mind. Anyway, and then tomorrow we will do Sunday satsang. And it'll be Matri and I. We'll just hang out and have some nice conversation.
Yes.
What was the topic I put there?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know. Did you already put a topic?
I think I did. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, I have it written down somewhere, but I didn't. Oh, it's going to be a surprise. I know what it is.
Oh. Are you going to tell me?
If you want to know, maybe I'll tell you.
Okay.
What's in it for me?
Some cyber hot cocoa?
Cyber hot cocoa? What the hell am I going to do with cyber hot cocoa?
Subtle round. Very quick delivery. Just close your eyes. There it was.
Yeah. Okay. Send me cyber cocoa.
Okay.
All right. Bye, all. Remember,
Bye,
have a nice meditation. And remember, where do we find what we're looking for? Anybody know? Yeah, over there. Whoops, wait a minute.
Yeah, yours is cut off.
Yeah. Over there. Matri has a bigger one than I do.
All this is not who you are. So if you encounter it, not important. This.
Yeah, but that's a good reminder there, what Ma says. To be able to receive and experience this, you have to stabilize this. This has to become steady and stable.
So it does not become an obstacle.
Steady and stable so that we can explore this. Otherwise, we cannot explore the samskaras because it's just too damn noisy out here. We have to get this steady and stable. Steady body, smooth breast, stable conscious mind. Then we can explore the subtler, deeper.
Yes.
And then we can go beyond to this. That's the idea. Thanks for the reminder, Mom. Okay, Coco Birdie is back, and he had a bath.
Mm-hmm.
He's a wet birdie. You're a wet birdie. He is. He's all wet. Anyway, so bye-bye all. There you go. There's a little wet little Coco Birdie. Say chirp, chirp, Coco Birdie. Speak to everybody. Bye-bye all.
Bye.
He said the silence after the
Yeah, that Coco Birdie said silence after the Om. He just skipped the Om part. And now he's shaking water all over the place. He's shaking his feather out.